Robert Gascoigne Cecil. He's an old, well, not with us anymore,
Mm,
right? In the 1800s,
mm.
he used to be our prime minister. How about that? Three times he was
Oh,
prime minister of Britain. And his nephew, Arthur Balfour,
yeah.
Robert used to give him prominent political positions within the government, although he didn't have any experience.
Right. Okay.
Right? Bit of nepotism back then.
Mm,
And everybody who saw this, they said, well, life in politics must be easy
mm.
if Bob's your uncle, right?
Yes. Yes.
And that's where the phrase came from, Bob's your
Very
uncle,
cool. Yeah.
okay? From Robert Gascoigne Cecil.
Mm,
Bob is the uncle of Arthur,
yeah.
right? So, bearing that in mind, something I only knew for sure these last few days. Like I'm almost 60, I'm 64 years old almost,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I learn something new every day still, you know. And this is something I only knew for sure these last few days. In the
Mm,
UK, you can marry and start a family with your first cousins,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. I was aware of that. Yeah.
Now, I always thought that that was taboo, marrying your first cousin,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Um, when Charles and Diana Spencer were dating, remember back then?
Yeah.
They were dubbed as the kissing cousins.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember that.
Spencer family.
But
Yeah.
then the newspapers went on to say that they were distant cousins.
Yeah.
They were like 16th cousins once removed, or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
they were
Okay. Yeah.
really, really distant. But anyway, the newspapers sort of drew attention to this fact that they were, nonetheless, they were cousins. You
Mm,
know.
yeah.
Anyway, um, it is legal to marry first cousins. It was deemed so under the Marriage Act of 1949
Mm,
when they decided to regulate marriage.
yeah.
Back then, the law only prohibited the marriage of brothers and sisters between brother and a sister,
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
and children and the parents.
Mm,
Right, so a father can't marry his daughter,
yeah. Yeah.
right? For
Yeah.
example,
Yeah.
the legislation did not include first cousins when they did all this.
Mm,
So the first cousin bit sort of crept under the radar.
yeah.
Okay, they've forgotten about. Um, Now Conservative MP Richard Holden this year is set to introduce a bill prohibiting the practice. Uh, so why should marrying first cousins be banned? Why should we prohibit?
Yeah.
Uh, and the answer is it's the offspring which could suffer from birth
Yeah.
defects
Yeah.
and illnesses because of the mix.
Mm,
Uh, First cousin marriage is more common in the Asian communities, like the Pakistani one,
mm,
as arranged marriages are quite frequent, and they tend to have these arranged marriages between first cousins,
yeah.
to keep it all in the family.
Yes.
So in the NHS, birth defects are more prominent from this group, from this Asian group of people.
Yes.
Uh, and that, yes, this group of people is the top of the list
Mm,
for birth defects. Right,
yeah.
I just okay. But it appears that the NHS is trying to encourage first cousin partners to have more babies, despite this higher risk of
Mm,
deformities of the newborn.
yeah.
Right? The guidance by the NHS then veers away from clinical health, which it should really
Yeah.
concentrate on, and steers towards cultural values and financial advantages for married cousins.
Mm.
Right. Now, also against the practice and rebuking the pro-cousin marriaging guidance from the NHS, Dr. Patrick Nash said that cousins consummating their relationship is incest, pure and simple.
Yeah, I
Right.
agree with him. Yeah.
He said that the NHS should remove its guidance and apologise to the public.
So right. Yeah.
A YouGov poll held earlier on a YouGov poll held earlier on this year revealed that three-quarters of the UK population support a ban. Only 9% thought the law should stay as it is.
Yeah.
The NHS guidance also states that consanguineous marriage has been practiced for centuries
Yeah. Okay.
across many cultures, including that of the UK. Henry VIII, he married a cousin.
Yeah.
Uh, Queen Victoria, she married her cousin.
Yeah. Not first cousin though. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Well, anyway, this, of course, does not alter the birth defects risks,
No.
which really the NHS should be focusing on
Mm.
instead of the cultural aspects of this practice.
Yeah.
So, could we be using the term "Bob's your uncle" for a different reason from now on? Is what I ask. Because somebody's going to be born and say, "Hey, Bob's your uncle now."
Well. Yes. Yes.
You know, away you go.
Well. Okay. I mean, the Egyptians practiced it. Other
Yeah.
cultures. Yeah. I mean, it's all about keeping the bloodline pure. I mean, we now have knowledge there. The Romans, I think, actually began to cotton on to it. That it was a bad thing. Yeah. I think it was the Romans because they noticed, they kept records and I think they noticed, like you say, deformities. Um, I've had a Brazilian clinical person in Brazil point out to me about some things he's noticed about the British royal family that I'll say, he said just some features and are possibly from interfamily marriages. Oh, yeah.
Here in Brazil, you can marry your cousin. I looked this up.
Okay.
If you are to have children, if you
Yeah.
decide to have children, they advise that you should seek medical advice first.
Yeah. Um, Now, the main thing about it is the NHS advice. Um, as you're quite rightly pointed out, and I agree with you, the first thing that the NHS should be doing above anything else is giving good, sound clinical medical advice. But we know it's veered away from that in recent years. It's become a social, political tool for whatever weird establishment we've got and weird ideologies we have now.
Uh,
Um, we have, they say yeah, this establishment that says follow the science. Yeah, well, the science says, yeah, having intercourse with a close relative and having children is not a good thing. Yeah, it's to be discouraged. It can lead to complications. Um, I mean, it is difficult enough now with extended families and breaking families and drifting and other factors with people donating um, sperm and things like this. And yeah, that we don't end up with the same situation anyway. Yeah, without it being legal. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, and I don't care, and this may upset people, I'm afraid that some cultures or cultural practices do have to be, well, knocked back as we advance with our medical and scientific knowledge. It's as simple as that. Yeah.
yeah, I
Um,
mean that's what this MP is wanting to do.
mm,
Is
yeah.
to draft in legislation to ban the practice. They
Yeah.
say that a normal, when I say normal, a normal
Mm,
unrelated couple
yeah.
by blood,
Yeah.
uh, the risk of their child having any sort of defect when it's
Mm,
born is around about 2%.
yeah.
And if they're cousins, first cousins, that goes up to 4%.
Yeah.
So it's double the risk. I mean,
Mm.
you could argue it's only 4%, but for me,
Well,
it's 4% too many.
well, any 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 birth is a risky. I mean, it's a risk. Don't we know it? We're both parents. We've been through the trauma. Um, yeah, I've when I was having my daughter, without giving too much away, we had a couple of emergency runs to the hospital and concerns. Yeah,
Mm,
which I don't want to relive, you know. But because yes, it does hit you emotionally. Um, Thankfully, I mean, other than things, I've got a healthy child, you know, and you've got healthy children. Yeah, because we married well outside our family circle. If we found out that either of our respective partners were related, that would be quite a shock in many ways. Yeah. Um, but I mean, yeah, ultimately, it's one of these weird things. Is that yeah? I believe it's on the. I think they've worked statistically out. If you're traveling in London and there's a full top deck of a bus, the chances are 7 people on that bus will, in some way, be related to each other. What they would call reasonably close relation. Yeah, the way statistics of population work, it works out like that. But on the other hand, when you start playing with statistics, one in four children born will be Chinese. But you know, yeah, 4 children, not one of your children is going to be, yeah, Chinese. So statistics are funny things to work with in that respect. But it's a it is a concern. I've seen this floating around the news. I mean, obviously, there's been some podcasters who've made not light of it, but emphasised with a bit of humour. Um, but it's for me is a very very serious matter. Yeah. Um, I believe in science. I believe that science isn't fixed always. Yeah, there's always going to be another thing that will throws it in there. I do honestly believe that the it's more or less established that the closer, like you say, you procreate, you have children with a relative, a close relative, the higher the risk of a admon admon something being wrong. I can't pronounce it today, but yeah, something being wrong, um, and why increase that risk? Um, it's it's a sad fact. Okay, um, you do get relatives, cousins grow up together, and may in the closest of time, you have actually develop feelings for each other, which may seem weird, but can happen. Yeah, I'm personally that way, but um, it is a very very strange. Human emotions are very strange, but also if you're living in a close knit community, yeah, which um, a lot of Asian branches do have, they're going to be like this. Yeah. Um, it's not like us who branched off. We married somebody totally different away from our own culture almost. I didn't marry outside my religion, but that's only by chance more than um, desire, than actual sort of planning. Um, but yeah, we've gone away from now the local communities where, yeah, people did in the UK where people did marry. We've developed travel. There are pockets in the UK, a couple, well, relatively near me, where you get isolated villages still, where yes, close relatives do end up having relationships and marrying, sometimes unwillingly, unknowingly.